Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga's news package for tonight. Making headlines, acting Prime Minister call on the public to be sure of where their assistance are headed to ensure it reaches the people of Hawaii. China Civil Engineering Corporation CCECC presented a check of $10,000 to the acting Prime Minister to assist Hawaii. Ministry of Health records the first typhoid case for the year, and Tonga Form 6 school certificate results distributed to schools. These are more stories later on in this bulletin. Here's your news for tonight. The Honourable Acting Prime Minister Sami Waipulu calls on the public to ensure that their assistance reaches its target of families and communities it's directed to in the Hawaii group of violence. Sinlatu tells you more.
The Honourable Acting Prime Minister Sami Waipulu thanks everyone who has donated money to help rebuild Hawaii. There are different committees and organizations set up to hold fundraising drives for cyclone victims in Hawaii. We'd like to advise the public of the proper places to send your monetary assistance to. Therefore, all monetary assistance is to be taken to the Treasury and NEMO must be informed of it. The Acting Prime Minister adds that food and water are the most needed items for Hawaii residents, and a project is underway which turns seawater into water, making the water safe for consumption and cooking. This project aims to produce 10,000 litres of water a day. Meanwhile, the Secretary of Finance, Tatafu Moeaki, says they are recording all monetary assistance made to the Treasury and writing out receipts. All the money collected will be audited and a financial statement will be provided. It will show how much money was collected and how it was spent.
More than 135,000 pa'anga has been deposited into the Hawaii Tropical Cyclone Ian Relief Fund. This was established by government for all cash donation and aid. According to the Secretary of Finance, Tatafu Moeaki, the amount collected includes 2,000 pa'anga from Tonga College ex-students, almost 30,000 pa'anga from the Hawaii Veo Relief Fund, and 17,000 pa'anga from CCECC. Other donations were deposited directly into the account from the public and other organizations. Kalistu Yunuku with more on that story.
Secretary of Finance says more monetary assistance is expected to be deposited into the account from commitments and pledges made by foreign countries such as Australian government with 50,000 pa'anga and an additional 50,000 Australian dollars from the Queensland District of Australia. Meanwhile, the president of the Tonga Rugby Union, Ebeli Taione, told Radio and TV Tonga News at least 50,000 pa'anga will be presented to the government later for Hawaii from the Hawaii Veo Relief Fund Committee. It includes 5,000 pa'anga collected from people who entered the Whaiva Stadium to watch the friendly game last Saturday. Another 4,000 pa'anga has been donated by the Puloka family and 1,000 pa'anga from the Tuipulotu family. In addition, $15,000, which is estimated at 30,000 pa'anga, was donated by British Tobacco from Suva, Fiji. Taione also elaborates that 50,000 pa'anga has been pledged in a radiophone fundraise drive held last week, which are in the form of goods and will go straight to Hawaii. It includes 25,000 pa'anga pledges by the CEO of Office Equipment and Pacific Timber and Hardware, Ross Chapman. Tuiwat and Sayamoihau have also pledged to buy food items valued at 20,000 pa'anga, while 20,000 pa'anga worth of water has been sent to the island of Hawaii. Meanwhile, Tatafu Moeaki says a National Emergency Management Committee will also access to the fund in the account to help in the relief effort on the island. He adds that 300,000 pa'anga was initially taken from government's 5 million pa'anga emergency fund for the immediate response to Hawaii in the aftermath of the cyclone Ian. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Kalisi Tuyonuku.
The China Civil Engineering Corporation CCECC presented a check of $10,000 to the Honourable Acting Prime Minister Sami Waipulu yesterday. The monetary assistance is to help victims of Tropical Cyclone Ian in the Hawaii group of islands rebuild their lives. Emma Jane Mayer has the details.
The China Civil Engineering Corporation, or CCECC, was the company which led the Four Causeway upgrade construction work in Ha Pai, which was officially commissioned by His Majesty King Dubo VI last year. The CCECC Deputy Manager, Mr. Gao Dong, said the company wants to help in the relief efforts in Ha Pai. He also expressed sympathy to the cyclone victims in Ha Pai.
With the arrival of a cyclone, people of Ha Pai suffered a serious disaster. They became destitute and homeless, lost their houses and families. We felt sorrowful and distressed at this situation. Ha Pai Island is the place where CCECC have worked and paid a lot of effort to. As a responsible and international company, we will give our heart of Ha Pai people, try our best to help the suffering people of this disaster. The CCECC will stand together with people of Tonga and Tonga government forever, hand in hand.
The acting Prime Minister thanked CCECC for its monetary assistance and said the donation will definitely help families of Ha Pai who have lost homes and jobs as a result of the Category 5 cyclone. Mr. Sami Vaipulu also emphasised the importance of using every donation wisely as it comes from the pockets of local people and overseas taxpayers. Emma Jane Vale for Television Tonga News.
New Zealand's Foreign Affairs Minister Murray McCully announced yesterday that New Zealand will provide more than 2 million paanga India assistance to help in a recovery relief efforts for Tropical Cyclone Ian. Emma Jane May again tells you more.
According to information from the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Honourable New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister, Murray McCully, revealed that New Zealand will provide equipment and materials to help restore the electricity network on the affected islands of Ha Pai. He has said this is based on a request made by the government of Tonga. Moreover, the New Zealand Foreign Minister says an offer to provide New Zealand-based technicians is also made if needed. Furthermore, contribution will cover resources needed to reconnect villages, including those on small remote islands. The CEO of Tonga Power Limited thanked New Zealand for their support.
We needed new materials, and that was obviously going to cost quite a bit. And the generosity of the New Zealand government has meant that we're able to get materials in place that will build a network that will withstand future weather events. If we'd had to use the lines and poles that had fallen down, they wouldn't have lasted very long at all. So we're very grateful of the financial support we've got just to get this rebuild going and to be able to help fund the material costs. In order to speed up,
McCully also said New Zealand is committed to supporting the Tongan government as the relief and reconstruction effort continues. Meanwhile, the Honourable Prime Minister Lord Ivakano earlier this week told Television Tonga News that he met McCully in Abu Dhabi during IRENA's annual general meeting in which they discussed the Ha Pai situation in the aftermath of the cyclone. He was informed that New Zealand will continue to assist the people of Ha Pai who lost everything in the cyclone. Such assistance includes drinking water, temporary shelters and other necessities. Emma Vale for Television Tonga News.
Although the Ha'ano district in Ha Pai suffered much damage from the Category 5 cyclone, residents on the island have taken the initiative in relief efforts and cleanup activities on the island in order to speed up the recovery process. The Ha'ano district is made up of Muitoa, Ha'ano, Pukotala and Whakakakai. Our Television Tonga News reporter and cameraman Emma Jane Mea and Demsiane Mani were in Ha'ano and filed this report.
Tropical Cyclone Ian may have destroyed many homes, schools and churches, but this hasn't stopped the residents on the district of Ha'ano from carrying out their regular activities. On Sunday, some churches still held their normal church service, such as the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga, which led its service in Ha'ano, led by the Secretary-General, Reverend Dr. Devita Havea. The Church of Tonga also led its service at Whakakakai, and this was led by the former church president, Reverend Dr. Feke Mafi. A shipload of supplies were also transported to Ha'ano and distributed to the villages to be shared accordingly. The Honourable Acting Prime Minister Sami Vaipulu was also in Ha'ano to oversee the distribution of supplies and inspect the extent of the damage. The supplies brought to the island includes drinking water and survival kits. We've also come with soldiers from His Majesty's Armed Forces to help in the clean-up activities, starting with the schools. I'd just like to commend the initiative carried out by the Ha'ano District Officer in clearing the roads on the island. When we first visited right after the cyclone and distributed tents, the island was in such a mess. On this visit, I'm impressed that the residents were able to single-handedly clear all the roads from Muidoa to Whakakakai. A team from the Ministry of Health were also dispatched to Ha'ano, where they sprayed the surrounding homes to kill the mosquitoes and flies and its breeding places. This vector control method aims to minimize the threat of disease. The team also treated water tanks with chlorine packets to make it safe for consumption. There's only one health centre on Ha'ano. A team made up of one doctor and nurses were able to treat residents in need of medical attention. Meanwhile, the Television Tonga news crew were able to speak with some of the residents on the island on their take on Tropical Cyclone Ian. This is the biggest cyclone I've ever experienced. I've experienced a cyclone in 61, one in 73, and tropical cyclones Isaac and Waka, but this one is the biggest of all. It's caused the most destruction to houses, trees, and vegetation. I'd put it at 95% of residential homes were destroyed in the village of Whakakakai. This is the most destructive cyclone to hit Ha'ano. In Whakakai, the only houses still standing are the Nurse's House and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building. It's sad to look around and see the destruction caused by this cyclone. Although surveys are underway to determine the extent of the damage caused by Tropical Cyclone Ian in the district island of Ha'ano from the Hapai group of islands, what is clear now that a very large percent of homes, schools, churches and the vegetation suffered much damage.
His Majesty's Armed Forces continues to work closely with the National Emergency Management Office or NEMO and other international stakeholders to ensure that donations are distributed throughout the Hapai group of islands to the Tropical Cyclone Ian victims. Lieutenant Commander Hais Fonohema confirmed this to our Television Tonga news crew, Emma Jane Mea and Demsiane Mani, while they were in Bangai Hapai this week. Both Navy patrol boats are servicing the Hapai Islands and make one routine trip a day. The cost of fuel for the Navy boats is jointly provided by His Majesty's Armed Forces in collaboration with its Australia counterpart and NEMO. The smaller islands are close together and the cost for fuel is not much. On average, it is estimated that the vessel is refueled almost once a month. Meanwhile, His Majesty's Armed Forces and NEMO also received support from a French Air Force, which provided free flights from Tongatapu to Hapai this week as part of its assistance. The French Air Force made 2 or 3 flights a day, carrying back and forth donations, supplies and representatives from NEMO. The main task of His Majesty's Armed Forces includes providing transport for supplies and NEMO staff and other needs throughout the Hapai Islands, helping in clean-up activities among other work. His Majesty's Armed Forces will be in Hapai for as long as is needed. And that's the latest updates from Hapai, but looking at other news items. The Ministry of Health has recorded the first typhoid case for the year 2014. The Chief Medical Officer of the Public Health Division of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Malakai Ake, confirmed this to Radio and Television Tonga News. He said it's the first case for this year, 2014, although there is a decline in cases of communicable diseases. Only one typhoid case was recorded last year. The first case of typhoid was admitted to Waial Hospital and was recorded from the Eastern District of Tongatapu. Dr. Ake emphasized the importance of hygiene and sanitation. The results of the Tonga National Form 6 exams has been distributed to 22 schools in Tonga. Information from the Ministry of Education and Training Examination Unit reveals that the results for the Form 5 examinations will also be released soon. Sinlato has details.
The principal of Kelana College in Vava'u, Edgar Haak, told TV Tonga News their exam results are quite satisfactory compared to past results. 24 students set the Tonga National Form 6 exams from Kelana College and 14 passed. Mr. Haak, however, voiced disappointment that the exam results were released very late this year. Meanwhile, Tailulu College Principal Paula Fonua says they had 28 students who set the Tonga Form 6 school certificate. However, some of them only set a few subjects. We don't analyze the exams to see who has passed or not. The students has put forth their aim for this year about which school or where they want to be after their studies. After analyzing the exam results, we saw that 40% of the students had achieved their goal. Television Tonga News contacted other schools for their results, but to no avail, and some are yet to analyze and confirm their Form 6 and 7 results before they release it.
2 Asian men and a Tongan former police officer has been sentenced to more than 5 years imprisonment after they were convicted for importing illicit drugs. Another Asian man has been convicted for possession of illicit drugs. Valeriano Manu, Jin Jue Liu, known as Kevin Liu, Shi Ken Lin, and Ju Min Lin were sentenced yesterday in the Supreme Court by Justice Charles Cato. Kalistu Nuku tells you more.
The offenders were convicted in November 26, 2013 for importing and possession of 2,013 grams of pseudoephedrine from China in 2010 and 2011. The illegal shipment of the illicit drugs were intercepted by New Zealand police. The illicit drugs were stashed in a boiler machine, also at the bottom of a shaped aluminium bowl. Valeriano Manu picked up the packages and passed it to Kevin Liu, who also the accused known as Chin Jiu, and then passed it finally to Shinken Lin. The accused Su Ming Lee was also involved in a 62 grams of illicit drugs found at his residence. 30-year-old Valeriano Manu was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months imprisonment. 31-year-old Chin Jiu, as known as Kevin Liu, was sentenced to 5 years and 8 months imprisonment. 32-year-old Sun King Lin was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months imprisonment. They were all convicted of importing illicit drugs. Their sentence is backdated to November 26 when they were remanded in custody. 41-year-old Sing Ming Lin was convicted for possession of illicit drugs and sentenced to 10 months in jail. None of the sentences are suspended. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Kali Situyanoko.
A good character of leadership is crucial in preventing corruption. This has initiated a one-week training for heads of department in the Ministry of Police. The training is led by Colonel Tim Woodman from the British Ministry of Defence and Foreign Affairs and Commonwealth Office and Michael Askew, a Regional Director from Pointman. Anasi Falekano tells you more.
The one-week training focuses on leadership's character and corruption and anti-corruption. Speaking to Television Tonga News, Michael Askew emphasised the importance of preventing corruption.
Now, the point of the training is we're providing guidance around ethical leadership and the importance of a person's character in their leadership. Now, the number one character trait that we talk about is integrity, because it's very difficult for a person to be a leader if they don't have integrity. So we're talking about that. We're also providing some corruption prevention training. You know, corruption is a worldwide problem. It's not just a problem in Tonga. There's problems in the UK, there's problems in USA, and now I'm a superintendent. I've now just retired from Scotland Yard, so I've got a lot of experience around this, and we've just come here to share some of our experiences with fellow professionals.
A local participant, Sergeant Supervisor at the Police Communications Centre, Yasmin Koloi, says that the training helps boost healthy environment at the working area.
It is really important for me to really know the character of a good leader. So in order for me to do my work well and to know my place and to meet the needs and the wants of my staff.
Similar training is held in other Pacific countries, including Samoa and Vanuatu. For Television Tonga News, Samanasi Falekaono.
Albanolo Technical Institute has signed a memorandum of cooperation with the Manukau Institute of Technology, MIT, which aims at encouraging its students to continue their studies at the Manukau Institute of Technology. Speaking to Television Tonga News, Principal of Apanolo, Sister Kea Mafina, says this will be the first time for the Apanolo Technical Institute to join hands with a foreign institute. Anasi Falekano tells you more.
The principal of the Apanolo Technical Institute says that the agreement aims to promote and enhance educational opportunities for current students and ex-students of the school who hope to further their studies. Sister Kelmafi now adds that the opportunity will develop not only the skills and expertise of the students, but the current curriculum of the institute, especially its art division. This opens more opportunities for our school to work with a foreign institute, and our local students can further their studies overseas. They can also get employment locally or overseas. The agreement also helps expand our art department with the help from the MIT's art department. Sister Keoma says students undertaking courses at Manukau Institute of Technology will be paid individually. This program begins this year. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Manasi Falekano.
As schools prepare to open, a training program is hosted for teachers from Tupo High School. The professional training program is hosted by the Mama Mo'onia group. Whanonga Vekosa was there and filed this report.
The facilitator of the teachers training program, Professor Tankina Moimoi, says it helps teachers provide better delivery of their lessons in the classroom.
It's basically we're looking at identified areas of needs from this school, Tupo High School, and one of the things that they would dearly love us to do is to deliver, a program, professional development programs for their teachers, and it's not to teach them how to teach their area of expertise, but it's basically to teach them how to teach students in their classroom.
The program is more than a week long, and it's planned to make it an ongoing program.
It's a volunteer program. We are trying to deliver highly professional products and services for all the people that we're going to be, all the teachers, and we're looking at trying to make this an ongoing basis. Because in other schools, professional training for staff runs alongside everything that they're doing. So it's going to be core to what they're doing at the school rather than something that's just going to be adding on.
These professional training programs aim at developing the teaching skills of teachers in teaching students in classroom. Participating in the programs are teachers from Tupo High School, Tapun Siliva, and the campus in Nukunuku. For Television Tonga News, I'm Whanonga Vekoso.
And that's the local news. Stay tuned for the latest in sports with Sin Lato.